Oh, why aren't we playing our song?
Should we play our song? You want to play the song?
No, go for it, dude. Maybe if I can get it in time.
I could play the song if I wanted to, but here's the deal. This is Transparency and Merit and Walking. You're listening to this on the YouTube channel, on the YouTube and X channel, formerly known as Twitter, Transparency and Merit, both X and YouTube. And then on our additional Twitter channels, Walk Against the Woke and Mr. Midnight Movie. I'm going on all three of these Twitter channels, and I might go a few more. Joey.
Aren't you also on Rumble? Aren't you doing Rumble?
Rumble comes on later, and I can't go live on there. I got to pay a hefty fee for that.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
Yeah. So these I can go on for.
But not everybody listening will be live. You might catch the show. Go check it out if you're on Rumble also.
All right. Now, we were going to talk about Don Lemon, but you wanted to say something first about the financial market and how it ties in. So, Joey, why don't you bloviate with your great bloviating voice, and let's hear your what you have to say on this.
Okay. And I'm not going to pat myself on the back, even though I was yelling at people. You can go back in time to our earlier Transparency and Merit episodes where I did a couple shows called High Finance. I'm going to get back into doing the High Finance shows. I was yelling at people, get into crypto, and Bitcoin was still at under 30,000. So people who did buy did a good thing for themselves, but I think that's not what I do, though. I'm not a financial advisor at all, but we are seeing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of propaganda. There's a lot of things happening in the news. There's bombs going off in places. They don't really talk about it a whole lot, but there's the Middle East getting bombed. Biden is telling interviewers that our economy is the belle of the ball. Are you kidding me? I mean, these people actually are going out and telling the world that the U.S. economy is doing incredible, and that's ridiculous. Go ask anybody who goes shopping at the supermarkets. You'll see that that's just not the case right now. There's corporate layoffs going on at levels that are much higher than what's being reported. So layoffs are happening, and so people are in a compromised state. I think that there's going to be more of this happening. There's ways to help yourself now, but this isn't what the show's about today. We're going to get into some other stuff, but yeah, do catch the episodes called High Finance and right here on the same channel. And anyways, I just wanted to throw that in there because I think I see a lot of arguing. The arguing levels go up in these times, right? I mean, the explosiveness of Twitter and places where there's conversations going on. The division lines come out, and it just gets ugly really quickly. So I thought I'd throw that in there just to open the. Do you have any questions, Brian? Right now is a buying opportunity. Especially if the Bitcoins go down even a little bit more, they're going to go way higher. We haven't seen anything yet on that. Anyways,
well, I just want to say that I should have listened to you. I didn't think you were correct on the whole Bitcoin thing, and I would have put a little bit more money on this. We are on right now Elon Musk and Don Lemon in their interview, and I just want to play a snippet. I'm not going to show the clip. I'm going to play the soundbite. Joey, if you can hear this, this is Don Lemon and Elon Musk going over the Great Replacement theory, and just listen to this real quick.
If legal immigrants wish, I think have a very strong bias to, at least everything I've read, it's a very strong bias to vote Democrat. The more that come to the country, the more they're likely to vote in that direction. That it is, in my view, a simple incentive to increase voters, Democratic voters. And yeah, so the question is like how? So there's a few ways that this works. One is that when the census is done, the census is based on all people in an area, whether they are citizens or not. So if there are a concentration of people who came here illegally in a particular state or in a particular state, that state will actually then get an increased number of House seats. So the House seat apportionment is proportionate to the number of people, not the number of citizens. So the illegals overwhelmingly go to places like California and New York, and if you just look at the math, if you look at the apportionment with and without illegals, I believe California would lose. I believe the blue state, there would be a net loss of blue states of approximately 20 seats in the House. This also applies to the Electoral College. So you say, like, well, this also applies to electing the president, because the electoral votes are also done by apportionment the same way.
Stop it, Mystic Man. Stop it.
Well, Joey, you're not okay.
Mystic Man, and you have an explosive diarrhea, man. What are they talking about here, Brian?
Joey, they're talking about the Great Replacement Theory, and Elon was just saying, what the incentive is for the Democrats, and Don Lemon's going to give his spiel. But let me continue this, Joey.
That House seats are done.
But the reason, Elon, the Electoral College is in place is to balance that, so that doesn't happen. So what you're saying about it is the exact opposite of the reason why the Electoral College is there. The Electoral College at this point in our history gives people who are in smaller states and red states much more of an influence over our elections than people who are in blue states, and the majority of the people in this country. That's what the Electoral College does. It actually does the exact opposite of what you're saying. It protects people who are in smaller states and protects people who are in red states. Well, the red states, because they tend to be smaller and less populous.
I think that statement is what you said is true, but what I said is also true, which is that if as is the case, a disproportionate number of legal immigrants go to blue states, they amplify the effect of a blue state vote. And the math, as I understand it, you can research this obviously very easily on there. It's pretty straightforward to research this. But my understanding is that there would be that the Democrats would lose approximately 20 seats in the House if illegals were not counted in the census, and that's also 20 less electoral votes for president. So illegals absolutely do affect the who controls the House and who controls the presidency.
Now, Don Lemon acted like a child, and he's an egocentric ideologue. And I look at the guy and I listen to what he says, and I think to myself, how did this man, who is so unaware, he's either unaware of his behavior, or he's just so juvenile he doesn't care. I just don't see how a man like this, who pisses off at least half the population.
Is there, Brian? Yeah, I want to ask you a serious question here. Is there any chance? That Don Lemon is a white man wearing blackface? I'm just asking.
No. There is no chance that he is.
I'm going to make that a poll on Twitter. I want everybody out there listening, I want you to answer the poll. I want you to say, is there a chance that Don Lemon is a white man with blackface?
I don't know why you would ask that poll. I think Don Lemon is.
This question.
He shows he comes across with very narcissistic behavior. That's not a diagnosis of him. I say more egotism and very egocentric. And I've said this before, ego is a stronger motivator many times than money, particularly when you're dealing with the entertainment field, when you're dealing with media. Ego is huge. And the people in media today are extremely, people in legacy media today are, in my opinion, off the charts when it comes to their egotism. I've never seen people this unaware. Either they're unaware of what the other side thinks and says, or they're just lying. They just don't care. But I mean, I don't know if they have any idea of how they come across, and how some of these like leftists on Twitter, how they come across, how corny they are. Some of these people are completely just out of their mind. Like, Joey, you don't spend your time on Twitter like I do, but I listen to some of these clowns, and it's like nauseating. There's a guy named Luke. Let me look here. He was such a buffoon that, and I can't even find the guy. But yeah, I mean, there's some of these people that are just complete jackasses. And I don't understand how these people.
The poll is up. So if you are out there on Twitter, please go to the Transparency and Merit page and answer that poll.
But I'm looking on Twitter. Let me see here. And there's to people who give me a hard time for calling out Kyle Rittenhouse, it's because fascists idolize this killer as a symbol for their supremacist movement and their desire to eradicate us all. His actions have set a dangerous precedent that has put all our lives at greater risk. And my response to that was, I retweeted it with a tweet of my own, a juvenile and myopic statement. Hopefully this child buffoon is not in any leadership role, because these people are complete buffoons. I also want to play a little bit of Ketanji Brown. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson was just about.
My biggest concern is that your view has the First Amendment hamstringing the government in significant ways in the most important time periods. I mean, what would you have the government do? I've heard you say a couple of times that the government can post its own speech, but in my hypothetical, kids, this is not safe, don't do it, is not going to get it done. And so I guess some might say that the government actually has a duty to take steps to protect the citizens of this country. And you seem to be suggesting that that duty cannot manifest itself in the government encouraging or even pressuring platforms to take down harmful information. So can you help me? Because I'm really worried about that, because you've got the First Amendment operating in an environment of threatening circumstances from the government's perspective, and you're saying that the government can't interact with the source of those problems.
And Your Honor, I understand that instinct, and I guess what I tell you is
that one. We have a Supreme Court justice. Did you hear what she said? That this is Supreme Court justice. What the hell? Yeah.
Maybe you can paraphrase for us here.
Yeah, the Supreme Court justice.
By the way, but I just want to say welcome to Transparency and Merit, especially if it's your first time here. Make sure you follow us, subscribe, leave comments, the whole thing. All right, go.
Yeah, Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson just said that, she thought that the government could step in to restrict speech that is harmful. And no.
How disturbing.
Yeah.
I mean, are they trying to set people off? Are they trying? I mean, this sounds like this sounds like an attempt to rile up the factions. I mean, come on. Who? Just a minute ago, nobody cared what anybody said. Now it's now there's going to what are there going to be thought crimes too?
Well, I guess if you keep your thoughts to yourself, like in any other authoritarian country, you won't get punished. I mean, they've taken over the businesses where if you say things, you could be you could be economically damaged. But Katani,
that's a playbook right out of 1984.
Yeah, and I've said it before, Joey. This is about the conquest ethic. The left has successfully, the Marxist left, in my opinion, has been successful in its conquest of business, and establishment institutions all over the country, and they are being effective. Whether it's businesses or the legal system, and this is not just in America. This is throughout the Western world and throughout much of the Anglosphere. The majority of people in the UK don't want the immigration system that they have, but it doesn't matter what the will of the people who come into their country and who don't. They don't, they are thwarted by the legal system. And again, we talked about this a couple of days ago because we talked about the book, The Blood Meridian, and I got through that the conquest ethic is part of nature. It's a natural thing. When you have an ideology, a lot of times people's ego comes with that ideology, and they want to force that. They want to force that ideology on other people because it's a thing of power, and a lot of times they believe that they have discovered what is good and what is best for the rest of society. So then they want to impose that on everybody else. Do you have any comment about my bloviating, Joey?
Not really, because I think it was really just that. It was a lot of gas that didn't really amount to much. But I mean, was there a point to it?
Do you believe, Joey, that the conquest ethic is part of nature?
I do not believe that is the case. No, I don't. There are animals that, like a coyote. Coyotes will gang up on a rabbit. They'll confuse it, and then they will make their score. But that's a survival. I mean, it's a little bit different. They're not trying to take over Russia or any sort of land or even their bag of carrots. It's strictly a survival tactic.
Isn't the conquest ethic just an evolved sort of conquest ethic? Kill or be killed, eat or be eaten.
Well, then you'd have to presume that rabbits would one day evolve into beings that actually would want to gerrymander and take over land. And no, I don't. No, it's ridiculous. It's not in nature.
Conquest is not in nature. I mean, there are animals that are conquested by other animals. And human beings.
I'm saying conquest ethic is not in nature. Conquest, sure. And, the bigger animal will not even always the bigger animal, the smarter, the quickest, whatever, the stronger. Somebody's going to win that battle. So conquest is something, but conquest ethic? No.
Okay, so conquest is part of nature. And conquest is part of the nature of animal nature, and it's the nature of man.
I'm no expert on this, by the way. Hey, is anybody out there screaming at your computer screen? Right? Call in. Come on in.
I don't think hardly anyone's listening to this shit. I mean, the thing is, you got to advertise it, and I haven't done that. But
we got 24 live people here
on Twitter or on YouTube. They're actually
all on Twitter, and there's probably half of those are bots, and half of them, maybe a third of them are naked chicks. But I don't know if there's any going to argue.
Which Twitter are you looking at?
I'm looking at the
Transparency and Merit or Walk Against the Woke.
I'm just looking at our live views. Just go look at our live views right here. It says it.
Okay. I mean, no. Are you on YouTube looking at it? Or are you on Twitter or on X looking at it?
Yes.
I am not. You're not giving me an answer.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm on Twitter as well.
I don't see anyone listening to this right now at the moment. And I don't want to click on it. But okay. If you say there are 24 people listening, I believe you. Although 19. We have 19 listeners? That's rather impressive, Joey.
Brian, go look at your Discord the picture. Anyways, so Brian, how does any of this have any relevance? Why have you been on this for what? How many years have you been at this Elon Musk and Don Lemon thing?
Since it started, I forget when the interview happened, but since the interview happened, I've been kind of on it, and the more I hear about it, listen, I'm a movie and I'm a TV junkie, and I am seeing a change in behavior, and this is from the baby boom generation. I mean, like from actually, I grew up, a little bit at the tail end of Walter Cronkite to a lot of baby busters, people born are what they would call the silent generation, and the baby boom generation to this Generation X, which by the way, Don Lemon is part of, and then the millennials and people after that, they are awful. These people stink. They are terrible. Their behavior is awful. And I don't know if you've noticed that, if you've been a news junkie or a TV junkie like I have, and noticed the behavior of legacy media. It's not good. Their behavior stinks. And I've never seen them this sanctimonious and this unforgiving.
Brian, what it is that I think there's nowhere to run and hide. They can't hide it anymore. Walter Cronkite was more detailed, was more revered. He was more novel, and they slipped it on by. But it's never changed. It's always been this way. Even Orson Welles told us that in Citizen Kane. Go watch Citizen Kane again. He told us from the beginning. Now, what we have is a situation where a lot more people are seeing it, and I think you see it, and I think it's as clear as day. It's it's so clear as day that for me, I can't. My attention is elsewhere. It's where I can actually do something positive and not dwell and not recycle and rehash these losers message. And Don Lemon to me is fraud, and I'm not a big fan of Elon either.
Now, by the way, Scotty Poo just said, Jesus, Brian, what did Don Lemon harangue? What is this?
What did Lemon do to you?
All right. All I said, well, let me just say this.
Scott?
Scotty Poo asked me, Brian, do you hate Asians? And I said, Scott, you sound like Don Lemon. Please get the blank out of your anal and act like a rational man. And I think that was good advice, Joey.
Yeah. Take a shower.
Yeah, take a shower and just wipe the fish out of your butt. You know, give me a break. You're acting like a child. And just like, but Don Lemon is just a symptom of a larger problem, in my opinion. And again, look, they've always had their biases, and they've always leaned perhaps a certain way, but I've never seen this type of behavior before, and I think it is. I think it's generational, Joey. I think that they don't come from the hardship. The hardship of the generations before them, and it shows. They act like spoiled children. That
that just sounds like envy, though. Are you envious of their position or not?
Well, I'm kind of like looking at some of these people like, have you ever been a person on a team and the coach is putting them in and you think that they stink? And like, why is the coach putting him in? I'm better than him. Or even your friend is, like your friend. And it feels like that. Like, I don't mind losing to someone better.
I had a half Asian friend who would recruit absolute ballers. He would recruit A players into our C League games, and I would have to sit. So
and you paid, and that's kind of the way I feel like, to a degree. I'm not. It's not that same circumstances, but it's like I feel like a person who is watching a coach play players that aren't going to get him the W's. I mean, I'm seeing people move forward that aren't as good or as talented as other, and not even as me, but aren't as talented as other people, in my opinion. They're very, just to be, I'm sick of seeing some of these reporters crying, and from the left or from the right. And some of these commentators who cry. I'm just sick of it. Man up. I don't want to see that anymore. I'm not going to get into who cries a lot, but some of these guys, it's just like, enough of that stuff. Enough.
I think we're poised to take the internet over. Brian, transparency and merit is going to take over.
You know what? I hope so.
Need a slap in the head, Brian.
We have interesting takes. We did talk about the Conquest ethic, and you had more interesting takes before. And I still believe, well, maybe not an ethic. I mean, it's part of like both the mind of a man. He thinks he's in the right when he has to justify his morality when he does what he does.
Brian, you hushed me more than the liquor store who wouldn't sell me things because I wouldn't wear a diaper on my face.
Well, and you know what? It wasn't too long ago, 30, 40 years ago, when, a kid down the street would have a note for mom to buy some Lucky Strikes. Do you remember that? Like, did you have any friends that like...
Well, my mom smoked when I was a child, and I was never put in that position to go buy her cigarettes, thankfully.
I had, yeah.
But I had seen it. I've seen it many times, not just in movies and TV shows, but I remember those days.
Yeah. Mom needs her menthol. She's sick with emphysema, and she needs a pack of menthols and maybe a bottle of booze. Well, you couldn't get booze, but you could get cigarettes if you had you were 10, 11 years old and you had a note for mommy. She's sick in bed. She's got strep throat. She needs her cigs. Help her out, for God's sake. And now we have, you got to wear a diaper on your face. Did I really shush you, Joey? Did I shush you? Are you saying that I shushed you? Did I?
Go back and watch those videos. Go back and watch them. I challenge you. It's great. I mean, I kind of fought through it, but at some point I was like, well, transparency and merits. It's our baby, but you came up with the idea. I didn't want to piss on that, so I thought, maybe better I, not interrupt the message you want to convey. Which I never. I mean, to be honest, I did the same thing to you. I'm not saying I didn't do it to you. I thought a lot of your takes were like, oh God, not this again, but. I don't think that changed until we kind of, maybe struck. We found that we had more in common, and our ideas weren't as badly opposed as we originally had thought, and so I think we were able to work through it. Okay, but there was a point where I don't think you wanted to hear anything I had to say, and I was fed up with everything you had to say, and it went both ways. No, it wasn't just you.
Now there's a guy named Luke Zelensky, who is just a complete jackass, and I think I'm going to tweet him again. Luke Zelensky says there are three main right-wing plots relentlessly propagated by X's most prominent ad share paid feeds. White people are the victims, heroes of a global plot against them. 2, Trump is a victim, hero of a global plot against him. 3, Elon is a victim, hero of a global plot against him. And he says this guy, Luke Zelensky, says things like this all the time. And I just want to say, Luke, you are a cornball of the highest order. And how you've gotten over 100,000 followers is really beyond me, because you are just, in my opinion, a complete buffoon. And he's a legal affairs editor, Condé Nast, longtime former research director, and head of fact checking. The resistance and truth hurts. Truth hurts you, Luke. You are a buffoon. Truth hurts you. Good God, man. This guy is the biggest jackass of all time. And we got High Ridge Estates here. And, yes. High Ridge, let's see. It said very rational. Don't fight daddies. What the hell does that even mean? What are you on, dude? Jesus Christ. You look like you could be, you know what? You look like you could be like Bruce Dern's son.
Ryan, be nice. Bruce Dern is a good actor.
He's a good actor. But Bruce Dern's son, and there's a character in the movie The Warriors, like he had a baby with Bruce Dern.
Don't really damage this guy, okay? Damage.
He looks like the guy who says, "Give us your jackets, man, if you want to walk through here." And then the guy says "F you" to him, you know. "Oh man, you don't know who you're just messing with over here. I got all the guys here. Don't mess with me." You know what I want to hear him say? You know what I want to hear Scotty say?
Oh, what do you want to hear him say?
"I'm walking here.
Yeah.
Don't hit me, man. I'm a cripple.
I'm walking here.
Get out of here, man."
We gotta show that late night sometime and do a group movie night where because I don't think everybody's seen that movie, Brian.
You know what? I think we should write a song about Midnight Cowboy called "I'm Walking Here." And Scott should sing it. "I'm walking here. I'm walking here. Can't you see what I'm doing here? I'm a cripple. Don't hit me. Boo-hoo-hoo. You know what they do to you when you're a cripple." Midnight Cowboy. You know, I really enjoyed that film. There are times when I consider it my number one on the movie scene, Joey. And you used to love, when I first met you, you thought that 2001 A Space Odyssey was the greatest film you've ever seen. And you don't have that opinion anymore.
I do not have that opinion anymore. Man, that movie. We're gonna watch it together. I'm walking here.
Walking here.
2001: A Space Odyssey has taken a turn for the worse, and I will never, ever consider that to be a movie that I would recommend to somebody ever again.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons for it. I don't want to get into all of it now, but the science is wrong, man. The science. There was a lot of programming, and it has to do with the programming involved in that cinematic tomfoolery.
Now I wonder if Scott has ever been chased by hoodlums. Like he just had to hide in the closet somewhere because he owed him money. You know, come on, guys, don't hurt me.
I think he has. I think he has. I remember the first time I met him, he was sweating and it looked like he was hiding under a table.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this guy? I got to know him. But he likes the Warriors, so that's good. All right, Brian, what else do you got here for our lovely friends on Twitter? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Those who are joining me on Twitter and on, not Twitter, but X, formerly known as Twitter. And we have, like I said, we are on 3 Twitter platforms. We're on Transparency and Merit, which is also our YouTube page, and then we're also on Walk Against the Woke and Mr. Midnight Movie. We might go on more Twitter pages, by the way. I think that might be something. I think, Joey, you should put your Twitter page in there as well, perhaps. Your Jewish producer page in there so we can go live on all 4 of them. Maybe just one. I don't know. But with that being said, any thoughts about Conquest and man? We talked about man's natural inclination of conquest. Would you agree with that or disagree? Joey?
What were you asking me again? If I agree with conquest ethic?
No, man's natural inclination for conquest.
Brian, we talked about this half an hour ago.
We did? Well, it must be my diabetes working in because I'm getting tired.
Oh, stop. It's not diabetes. It's
your beaties. It's your beaties. I need to get in shape. It is diabetes. How do you know it's not?
You know what? Man may have a desire to. How about man has a desire to maybe move up the chain, to evolve, to become better. Maybe not always. Maybe it's being better at something that's bad, but maybe that's the natural instinct to get better, to maybe have more. But I'm not sure. I'd like to hear what people out there say. That's what I'm really interested in. I want to know what they think.
What frightens me is the West, and this is coming from America, but then it's being brought into Europe as well, where we're becoming the victim society, and victimhood status is starting to have, being a loser is starting to have currency. And I think that is the end of our society. The most pathetic, the losers are, because I feel sorry for you. Give them a trophy because they lost the war and they're pathetic. They're the ones that are now being put up on a pedestal, and that is a loser mentality. It is a buffooning mentality. Look, I believe in compassion, but compassion and empathy cannot replace merit. That is stupid. Joey, do you have anything to add before I end? Anything that I just said that resonates with you? Or do you think it's a whole lot of rotten vodka and bagels?
I think we need to have this conversation. I think we need to expand on it a lot more, give it some context, and support with some more data. I'd like to kind of stew on it a little bit, and also get some comments from people. By the way, the voting right now, there is a poll right now on X on transparency and merit. It's Cali OTM. Is there any chance that Don Lemon is a actor wearing blackface? I'm just asking the question. Right now, the voting is at 2-1 in favor. I saw that there was okay. Thank you, Scott. There was a vote. Okay. So we're getting there. Anyways, thank you, Scott. Ends after the show, so get on it.
And I'm not seeing 24 listens. Antifa hotline. Good God.
And that's my Skype. That's my Skype. 310-668-1969.
Yeah. Awesome. Joey, is there anything to add before we call this show a day? And a lot of interesting things are happening in the world right now. Crypto is going through the roof. If I had listened to Joey, I'd be a lot wealthier now. So what he says on finance,
you did listen to me and you made money. Good.
I did make money, but if I had listened to you even more, because I said I'll put some more money into it, but if I had put like 20 grand, woo, party.
You would have made more money, but that's, you know what? You made money, Brian. And you know what? Crypto is going up. So I don't care if you have $5 in your wallet, throw it down and watch it grow. Buy silver, buy copper, buy things you can hold.
Joey,
right now, commodities are going to be at a premium, dude.
One of the things I want to convince people to do is stop spending that dollar on the lotto. Crypto is a better bet. Silver, precious metals are a better bet. So,
with the timeline, though, I mean, I really think they could pull the chain out from under us, and all of these things. Right now is not a good time to gamble. Right now is not a good time to go buy a goddamn lottery ticket. Not that you shouldn't. Go do it if you want, but it's not a good bet. You're going to lose most of the time. You're going to lose. You're going to net chances are it's going to be a net loss for you. And the house always wins at the casino. So, there's ways to minimize the risk. You don't want to do that, but yeah. Crypto is a heart attack to watch, dude. It's not for everybody. It goes up, it comes down. It goes up, it comes way down. It goes way, it's a roller coaster, and it's not for everybody. And Not a financial advisor, anyways. So do what's best for you. But look into metals. I will say that. I will make that recommendation. Look into metals and check it out.
All right, guys. Hey, that'll do it for Transparency and Merit. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below on our YouTube channel. Also, if you're listening to us on any of our shows on X, formerly known as Twitter, on our Transparency and Merit, or our Walk Against the Woke, or our Mr. Midnight Movie, make a comment as well. Hey guys, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Thank you so much. Anything to add, Joey, before I call this show a night and put it to bed?
Thanks for hanging out, Scott.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hey, we need more people to come and hang out. We need to grow this circle a little bit. It could be a drum circle, or it could be just Brian talking. So,
and who the hell wants that?
Bring your drum.
All right, guys, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Visit us on all our social media sites. I've already put them out there, and I'll put them out there again on YouTube and on X, Transparency and Merit. Walk Against the Woke, which is Walk Woke. Transparency and Merit, also on Twitter, and then Mr. Midnight Movie. Hey, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Thank you for listening. Thanks.